Rescue efforts are underway in Mexico after yesterday's deadly earthquake. We spoke to someone there to get the very latest.
And is USC ready for the big one? We'll show you what the school is doing to prepare students.
And what's this newest healthcare bill all about? Find out how this bill could affect you.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Rescuers in Mexico are racing against time to save people from the rubble after yesterday's earthquake. Good evening, I'm Suji Nam.
And I'm Madeline Otterly. At least 230 people are dead after the 7.1 magnitude earthquake. A collapsed elementary school took at least 25 lives, but rescuers found one girl alive in the debris. They're still trying to get her out right now. LA resident Sam Siegel was in the country on business. He thought the quake was just another drill.
I couldn't really process what was going on because it was such a foreign feeling. And the glass that was shattering was falling on people who were evacuating the building. There were a few people nearby who were hurt. Everyone around me was screaming. They were just shrieks. The people who I came across in my short time there are amazing. They're obviously upset by what happened, but they're going out and they're volunteering and they're doing what they can to help people who are in pain.
Now Siegel's back in LA, but memories of the quake and aftershocks remain. We've been following social media here in the Media Center, and we're looking now at these top trending hashtags. That first one being Sismo, which means earthquake in Spanish, has over 3 million tags. Looking at our retweet links here, Google Mexicano put out a link where family members can report missing persons. That's also a good site for anyone who has any information to put that up. We'll look now at our top words we're seeing across the web. These are on Twitter. Earthquake front and center, Mexico right under. Everyone here hurting for the losses that we've seen, and we're wishing them all the best.
Thank you, Maddie. We also spoke to USC's Civic Engagement Coordinator and a student about ongoing relief efforts in our community.
I was feeling scared for my family. Mexico will need a lot of help for a lot of time.
There's times like this where a country unites, or as a community we have to come together, right? So the best way to participate is to be there for someone.
There are also almost 6,000 Hispanic students at USC, some of whom are from Mexico, so this earthquake hit close to home. Now, it's really important to know how to prepare for an earthquake if one were to hit LA. Annenberg Media's Hannah Wing shows us how to get ready.
Some students have never seen an earthquake before.
Being from San Antonio, Texas, I've never gone through an earthquake before. I know simple things like you're supposed to stand under the doorway and things like that, but I wouldn't feel like I'm the most prepared person.
The director of the Southern California Earthquake Center says that the simplest way to prepare for an earthquake is to make 3 emergency kits, one for your car, one for your house, and one to keep at school or work.
Well, the emergency supply kit is just so that you don't have to go out and find food and water if supplies are disrupted. You can imagine if the highways are cut off, or if there's a lot of people out there with civic unrest, you may not want to be out looking for food and water.
Some items for your emergency supply kit might already be at your home. For example, a breakfast bar, a flashlight, and a first aid kit. Don't forget to make kits for your pets as well. USC has been implementing programs and collecting supplies to take care of its students and faculty.
And that includes emergency food. It includes, we have a water filtration trailer where we can actually take it to the swimming pool and filter the water to make it cleaner than tap water is right now. We also have, like I mentioned, disaster first aid, medical supplies, as well as the teams in place to address it.
The university is also participating in the Great California Shakeout Drill on October 19th. Goldfarb also said it's important to reach out to family and loved ones to let them know you're okay.
Maybe updating your Facebook page or your Twitter page or Instagram so that they know you're okay and what your status is.
For more information on preparing for an earthquake, check out the Emergency Preparedness Fair tomorrow from 10 until 2 on Truesdale. For Annenberg Media, I'm Hannah Wing.
About 5,000 people officially became U.S. citizens at a ceremony in downtown LA this morning. For the new citizens, today's ceremony marks the end of a very long journey. Citizens took an oath and celebrated their new citizenship by proudly waving American flags.
I feel super excited, you know, this is a big moment for me. I've been waiting for this for a while, and it feels great. It feels like, you know, you have achieved one of your main goals, and it's like, I'm American, que viva America.
It was a very unique feeling I can't even describe. The amount of people, it makes you realize that you're not alone in this, so it was amazing. I thought it was great.
Organizers also set up voter registration tables outside the ceremony to help register the new citizens. People could register as Republican or Democratic booths.
It's kind of an infectious vibe here to say, hey, thanks for choosing America. Welcome to our country. Vote for the party, register for the party that likes immigrants and welcomes you.
I think the most important thing about a naturalization ceremony is what it's always been, regardless of who's president. I mean, that's the joy and the promise of America, that it doesn't matter who the president is, you can get to live your life the way you choose.
The next naturalization ceremony in LA County will be in October.
Now in Washington, the GOP is at work trying to repeal Obamacare again. Senators Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana proposed a new bill yesterday. They hope to vote on it next week. The revised health care bill will end Medicaid expansion in 2020 and give a grant of over $1 trillion to the states. It will also prevent Medicaid from paying for all care and stopping funding for Planned Parenthood for a year. The bill will continue to tax the wealthy to help fund Medicare. Now tonight we have Dr. Michael Cousineau in the studio with us to tell us more about the reforms. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
You're welcome.
Great. So just to first start on the main points, what are the main big revisions you would say that have been made to the bill?
Well, first of all, it eliminates a lot of the private subsidies. So right now under the Affordable Care Act, you can apply for health insurance and you can get it, and then the government will help you pay for the cost of that premiums, help reduce the cost for your monthly premiums for health care. That's going to be eliminated, and that's going to be included in the block grants that you mentioned would go to the states.
So what are some of the implications? What should we look for in the future to happen?
How many people are going to be covered, and how many people are going to lose coverage as a result of this proposal? So the Congressional Budget Office is going to come out with their analysis next week, or maybe the week after. That's going to give us an idea of how much this is going to cost, the impact it's going to have on the federal debt, but also how many people will be affected, how many people will lose coverage, how many people will gain coverage, and they'll be able to do that by state.
Now, one last question, because we're a university, what should college students and women as well specifically, what should they expect to happen to them specifically?
Most students will be are covered by their parents' plan, and that part will stay in place. The big concern for students is to look beyond graduation and what's going to happen when they leave the university and they go into the workforce. What if they can't get coverage right away? Mm-hmm. What kinds of health insurance will be available from their new employers? Those are the things that I'd be looking at right now.
Okay, and so as a policy expert, what are the chances you think the bill is going to be passed? What are your percentages in your opinion?
I don't have percentages, but right now the swing, there's 3 or 4 Republican senators that have not decided. Senator Heller from Nevada, mm-hmm. Senator McCain from Arizona, and possibly 2 others, one from Kentucky and one from West Virginia. We're not sure yet. So they need to get to 50. If they can get to 50, then Vice President Pence, under the rules of the Senate, can break the tie. So if they can get to 50 senators to support it, then the bill will pass and it'll go to the House.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Cousineau, for being here with us today. And there you have it from our very own policy expert. Maddie, back to you at the desk.
A new Kaiser Permanente hospital opened today in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw area.
Baldwin Hills, Crenshaw.
Mayor Garcetti and health professionals spoke at the opening ceremony. The 100,000 square foot hospital has a pharmacy, lab, and nurse clinic. Some residents we spoke to say they are very glad to have a new hospital.
And the people in the community and outside the community as well that need medical care can come here and get service properly.
The hospital also has outdoor spaces and green spaces that local community groups can use.
Now, a new bill might make California the first state to ban puppy mills.
And Nestle is becoming a major stakeholder in a small coffee chain. Could their corporate reputation hurt the popular coffee spot?
And Rosh Hashanah begins tonight. Find out why religious figures are changing their message for this holiday this year.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
That's low. That's low.
Look, he's blushing.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
California could become the first state to take aim at puppy mills. Lawmakers sent a bill to Governor Jerry Brown that would require pet stores to get their pets from shelters and rescue groups. Private breeders would still be able to sell to individuals. Los Angeles County already has a ban against so-called puppy mills, but this bill tries to stop animal trafficking from out of states. One animal shelter supervisor says most people in LA get their pets elsewhere.
I don't think we have a lot of puppy mills in the state of California. I'm really not sure. But like I said, most of our animals are here because of backyard breeders.
Supporters say the bill is meant to get people to rescue dogs from shelters or work directly with breeders. It also ensures that animals are healthy and treated humanely. Opponents worry there's confusion about the definition of a puppy mill.
Visited six commercial breeders a few months ago. You know, the animals are happy, they're well fed, they have big places to run around in. These are not, so-called puppy mills.
The bill also requires pet stores to have records of where dogs, cats, or rabbits come from. A violation of the law could carry a $500 fine. If signed by the governor, the law would take effect in January of 2019.
Gourmet coffee drinkers are worried today as one of the country's hippest startup companies sold a controlling share of their business to a corporate giant. Blue Bottle Coffee, known for its hipster customer base and high price tag, announced Thursday it had sold a majority share of the company. Nestle paid $425 million in its first step into the realm of high-end coffee. Some customers are concerned with how this will affect Blue Bottle.
I have no problem with a takeover like that and somebody moving forward, but I do think it puts it into a new perspective. It's like Starbucks. Starbucks has a different perspective than what I had of them when they were in Seattle. Blue Bottle was that very high-end, superior product, and now when you see that a company like Nestle bought it, it knocks it down a notch in your mind.
While Nestle declined to comment, CEO Mark Schneider issued a statement on Thursday saying, "This move underlines Nestle's focus on investing in high-growth categories and acting on customer trends. Blue Bottle Coffee's passion for quality coffee and mission-based outlook make for a highly successful brand."
It's still kind of disappointing to think that a lot of the companies that kind of start up and have their own model of doing food or whatever kind of business they're doing are just being absorbed into these bigger multinational corporate entities.
We are in the United States here, and we are based upon capitalism, so, it's their choice to personally sell out and, make economic growth for themselves.
Blue Bottle Coffee will continue to operate as a standalone entity. Current management and employees will run the business.
Okay, so Maddie, I don't know about you, but my hair is just poofy and I blame it on the weather.
I completely agree. It is really starting to cool down too. Let's toss it to our weather anchor, Erica Lee, to see what's happening next.
Thank you so much, Maddie. My hair has been getting really frizzy too. Let's take a look at the current conditions. 64% humidity and fair. pretty good. Take a look at tomorrow. Up in Big Bear in the mountains, 58 degrees, nice and chilly. And if you take a look at the coast in Malibu, it's pretty cloudy there as well. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. It'll be a little bit rainy here on Thursday, but not for long. It'll get right back up on the weekend just in time for you to go to the beach or, you know, just go up to the weekender. Another Category 4 hurricane hit Puerto Rico this week, knocking out power on the entire island. Let's take a look. Puerto Rico is home to 3.5 million people. You can see the harsh storms and flooding all over the island. We talked to Professor Julian Emil to see what different categories of a hurricane mean.
A lot of Category 4 and 5 hurricanes, or at least hurricanes that reach that stage of intensity at some point in their life cycle. The winds get above 130 miles per hour, and we call this Category 4. Typically that corresponds to storm surges that can be as high as between 13 and 18 feet. And that's what a Category 4 hurricane is. So winds smaller than 130 miles per hour, that would be Category 3 and under.
The hurricane dropped to a Category 2 this afternoon, but it could become a major hurricane again by tomorrow. Man, I'm glad there are no hurricanes in California.
I agree, but you know what? I'm happy too, but my thoughts are out to those who are affected.
Yeah, we'll all be here anxiously awaiting to see what happens to them tomorrow.
Thank you, Erica. Well, tonight marks the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and one of the high holy days of the Jewish faith. The celebration focuses on new beginnings for the year ahead. Well, the celebration begins at sundown and ends Friday night. Jews celebrate with prayer services and feasts. Prayers are focused on asking for forgiveness. Meals feature traditional and symbolic foods, including apples and sweet bread called challah.
We dip the challah in the honey, we dip the apple in the honey, we have the head of a fish, and a lot of symbolism that really is about symbolizing the beginning, a new beginning, a positive beginning, and the beginning of something sweet.
Another tradition includes the blowing of the shofar. The Chabad Jewish Student Center sounded the horn near Chami Trojan. For some, the new year also brings new opportunities.
The world around us looks very different than it ever has before, and so being able to use this as an opportunity to think about how we are going to work with the community around us. We're really putting importance this year on social justice work. We're partnering with some other outside organizations of how we can think about the world, not only the big world, but our community around us and our neighbors, and how we can use the values of Judaism to help our neighbors.
The Jewish high holidays begin with Rosh Hashanah and end with Yom Kippur. This year, Yom Kippur will be observed on September 30th. Hey Maddie, so do you know what Saturday is?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the Weekender. I heard it should be a pretty great game, but I bet our sports anchor, Amy McCrae, has more on what we can expect from USC.
That's right. It will be a battle of the 3-0 teams up in Berkeley this weekend as USC takes on the Golden Bears. The women of Troy are starting their conference play on Saturday on the road, and the USC men's water polo goalie and 2016 Olympian was in the studio earlier.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Yes, I am. Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why are you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow. I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money going to come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
The number 5 USC Trojans are heading up north to take on the California Golden Bears. This is the first away game for the Trojans this season. The game is being played at 12:30 this Saturday. Although the Trojans dominated the Bears last year on home soil, both teams are undefeated this year. At football practice yesterday, both coach Clay Helton and quarterback Sam Darnold were in good spirits heading into the game.
Offensively, have been impressed with Ross Bowers. I think the kid does a really nice job in their RPO game, which is a huge part of their system, and has some great accuracy down the field vertically.
A lot of guys on this team, like myself, know Coach Wilcox and what he brings to the table defensively, so it's going to be a challenge for us, but we're ready, and we're excited to get after a good Cal team.
There's quite an extensive injury list on the Trojan side, but Coach Clay Helton said he is not worried due to the overall depth of his team. Running back Ronald Jones suffered a thigh contusion and is being evaluated on a day-to-day basis. Outside linebacker Porter Gustin is looking at best to be 50-50 for the weekend. We wish them both speedy recoveries. Turning to women's soccer, our correspondent Chloe spoke to the women's soccer head coach Kadani McAlpine earlier today. Chloe?
Thanks, Amy. I interviewed USC women's soccer coach Kadani McAlpine this afternoon to talk about the team's transition from non-conference to conference play.
The Pac-12 is arguably the best in the country. Every team is prepared. Every team can play. Every team has scouted you and knows your tendencies a little bit better than the non-conference opponents. So they'll be prepared. They're coming off one of their best seasons, and obviously we're coming off a great season as well. But anytime you have those kind of competitors on the field at the same time, they're going to want to win.
And we definitely want to win as well. We face off against our first conference opponent on Saturday. So I asked Coach McAlpine about our team coming into this next game against Utah.
Every team is giving us their best shot. As you look at their results, I think their game against us is probably some of their strong results. And so we've taken our punches, but we feel like we've been able to show our competitive spirit, even though we're a fairly young team. And I anticipate this weekend's game with Utah won't be any different.
We knocked out Utah last season in the NCAA tournament in the regional semifinals. So I'm excited to watch both teams challenge each other in another great game. Back to you, Amy.
The USC women's volleyball team is preparing for their crosstown showdown tonight at 8:00 p.m. at UCLA. The USC Trojans are currently ranked number 21 and are 8-3, while the UCLA Bruins stand at number 11 and are 7-2.
They'll probably expect us to do something tricky, and they always try to do something tricky to us. So it'll be an interesting matchup to see what happens. And we need to win as many on the road as we can, because home court advantage is really special, and you like to win at home, but it's really much harder to win on the road.
Highlights from this game will be posted on our website later tonight. McQuinn Barron is entering his final season at USC and is currently ranked number 2 in all-time career saves. He is just 39 saves away from becoming the all-time greatest goalie in USC's history. Barron was in the studio earlier today to talk about the upcoming season and who their toughest competitors are.
We know who we're playing. The already set up, so we'll probably meet Stanford in the semifinals, and then Cal or UCLA in the final, which are all teams we played last year, and they haven't changed much. We played Stanford 2 weeks ago and had a well-fought match against them. So they're going to be looking for revenge in that semifinal, and we just got to keep our home pool safe.
The USC men's water polo team plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The men are looking to maintain their undefeated record as they head into their games. The Los Angeles Rams are playing the San Francisco 49ers tomorrow for Thursday Night Football. Kickoff is at 5:25 p.m. at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. The Rams played the 49ers 2 times last season and lost both games. This year, the Rams are 1-1. They beat the Indianapolis Colts on September 10th and lost to the Washington Redskins last weekend. The 49ers are now 0-2 after they lost to both the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks. It sounds like it should be a really good game this weekend. Are you guys planning on heading up?
You know, I'm not planning on heading up. I really wanted to, but I will be cheering from home. What about you, Suji?
I have work, like always.
Oh, no.
I can't go.
Suji
Are you
always
going?
has work.
I
I
know.
am going, but I'm also from the Bay Area, so it'll be
That'll be
fun.
nice.
And a few of my friends
Take it
go to
back
Cal,
home.
so I'm excited to see them as well. And yeah, I'm all around excited for it. What about tomorrow night? The Rams, 49ers. Any interest in that?
You've seen the ticket prices? I cannot afford that.
Well, also it's in the Bay Area, so that's a slight problem.
Okay,
but
yeah,
will you be
that's
watching
too.
or no?
You know, I don't know if I will be, but you know what? I'm sure you will, and I'll have to get the highlights.
Yes.
As you guys can tell, I think I'm going to be your sports girl for this season.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Amy,
Of
for
course.
that. Well, an LA landmark is back in action after being closed since 2013.
Now you can take the trip from Bunker Hill to Hill Street on the famous Angels Flight.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Well, good news, Angels Flight has once again reopened in downtown LA after being shut down for 4 years. The shortest railroad in the world made a Hollywood appearance in the very famous movie La La Land just last year. Now, multiple private companies now maintain and operate the railway in exchange for a share of the money made over the next 30 years. The railway will be available to daily commuters all year round, including holidays.
Right to the left of us right now is like probably 80 feet of vertical elevation change from just the stairway. So glad it's in service, because when I have to walk back up to work from lunch or coffee breaks, I pretty much sweat my work clothes out.
The historic landmark is open every day from 6:45 a.m. to 10 p.m. Well, that sure sounds like a lot of fun.
I think we should all take a group trip.
Yeah,
Let's invite all of you, and we'll all go take a ride on the train.
We should just ride up, down, up, down.
Yeah,
Just have a nice little time.
Well, anyways, thank you for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Suji Nam.
And I am Madeline Audley. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.